Hello, and welcome to my session called Active Intelligence in Action. My name is Riley McDonald. I'm a Senior Solution Architect based in Germany, working for Qlik for the past few years. And I'm happy to give you an overview over Qlik and our data platform today. So we're going to do things a bit differently today. I'm going to actually go through a personal use case that I had and show how the Qlik data platform helped me with it. So I was recently in the market for an electric car. Of course, there's many reasons why you might want to buy an electric car. But actually, one of the main reasons I bought an electric car was because it has an API. And of course, I wanted to analyze the data coming out of my car. So I spent some time and I found some open source projects on GitHub, which wrapped up the APIs and saved the data on the local Postgres SQL server, which was running on a very small server locally without much computing power. And of course, I wanted to do cloud analytics on this data to get the most out of it. And I think this is a challenge that a lot of customers are facing. They have their data maybe locked down in on-premise and want to bring it to the cloud, and they don't know how to get it there. So I think this is a use case where the Qlik data platform can really help. So when people think of Qlik, they often think of some of our data analytics products like Qlik View, which has been on the market for over 25 years, or Qlik Sense. But we've also invested heavily to expand our platform to take into account the whole end-to-end data supply chain. So we also have areas like data integration we're heavily invested in, and areas like data literacy. So what can our platform do? We can take raw data and help you free it from different sources. We can also help you find the right data that you need. And we can also help you understand that data. And I think most importantly, we can help you action that data. So you can take really informed actions based on this near real-time data pipelines. And we've kind of coined this combination, this whole end-to-end platform with data integration and analytics as active intelligence. We feel this is the next wave of business intelligence. So we feel there'll be a lot less looking kind of analyzing static dashboards with old data and more analyzing real-time insights and driving actual actions based on that data, also automatically. I mentioned before that I had the challenge of how I could move my on-premise data into the cloud. For this area, the Qlik data integration part of our platform can help. So let's take a look how it works. We can take data from different data sources and land it into a target landing zone of your choice. Most customers these days are landing their data into the cloud, into data warehouses or data lakes, or even just creating directly Kafka streams. We're able to move the data from the source to the target in real time using a technology called change data capture. With change data capture, we read only the transactional logs of the source system. And when there are changes in the source system, these changes will be automatically replicated into the target landing zone of your choice. Once the data is landed into a target area, it is often still raw and not really ready for analytics. In order to use this raw data and make it analytics ready, we offer the ability to automate the creation of modern data warehouses or data lakes without any coding. And everything can simply be done using a simple user interface, which will automatically generate ETL sets, which will be run automatically in near real time on the data warehouse or data lake of your choice. And of course, once you have a data warehouse or data lake set up, it can be used by any other application for data science or for analytical tools like Qlik Sense. So I think the 4 key things to take away from the Qlik data integration platform are, we can move data in real time and transform it, all without writing any code. We're flexible with the cloud providers, so you can choose any cloud provider or even run anything on premise. And we support the most modern data lakes and warehouses, and many more than were listed here, but these are some of the most popular ones which our customers are choosing these days. And now I want to jump into a demo which shows how easy it is to land data into the cloud with Qlik Replicate, which is a tool within our Qlik data integration platform. So I'm here within the Qlik Replicate console, and I want to create a new task to move my on-premise data into the cloud. So it's quite easy. I can just click on New Task here. I can give that a name, Move Data to Cloud. I can choose a few options here. So of course, I want to do in the beginning a full load of the data. And then I want to do the change data capture. So I will click the Apply Changes. That means any new changes will also be replicated to the target. And I can also click on Store Changes if I want to have a separate table saved in my target, which keeps track of the changes that have been made. So I click OK. And now I'll be prompted to select my sources and my endpoint here as well. So I can just click here on sources. We can see there's a lot of different sources set up: SAP, Postgres, SQL, Salesforce. I set up in advance my Postgres SQL database, which is running on premise. I can just drag and drop it there. And I want to push it actually in this case. So I now need to select the target to set up an Azure SQL database for this as well. So I can just take that and drag and drop it. And now all that's left to do, I just need to select which tables I want to replicate. So I just go here, search for my tables. In this case, I want to take almost all the tables, so I take them all. I just want to ignore the schema migrations and the tokens. And now that's all that's left to do is actually just hit save, and I can click on run, and the task will be started. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we will do a full reload against the database to move the tables across. So this is happening now, and I'll see a quick overview of it here as well. Okay, so now the task is completed, and basically all of the tables have been transferred over into the cloud, and you can see the full load is 100% complete. We can then move to the change processing. So now it's live, and basically any changes that happen here to any of the tables will result in an update in the cloud. So we can simulate that here. I have open just one table here, my cars table, and I have here an attribute called exterior color, deep blue. I think it's more of a dark blue than a deep blue, so I'm going to change that here. And I just click now and save that. And in this moment, we can see already the update has already happened and is already available in the Azure SQL database. Normally, after landing the data in a target of your choice, the data would be in a raw form, which wouldn't be ready for analytics, and we would position Qlik Compose. And Qlik Compose would be able to automatically create a data warehouse or a data lake. For my specific use case, that wasn't necessary, so I skipped it, but I just wanted to call that out here. Let's now take a look at the Qlik Data Analytics platform. So we can cover a lot of different use cases with our data analytics platform. So static reporting, interactive dashboards, geoanalytics, including enriching geodata with new advanced calculations, self-service, mobile analytics, conversational analytics, so making sure that everyone can deal with data by just typing simple questions. Of course, without governance, it doesn't make much sense, so we need to make sure that the right people see the right data. And of course, active intelligence. So for this, it's important that people are only getting notified about data when they really need to. The Qlik Data Analytics platform is also able to fully take advantage of the Qlik Data Integration platform. So here we can see as the data is being updated on-premise, moved to the cloud in real time, it can also be merged into a Qlik Sense data model, allowing us to analyze this data further. Now we can take a look deeper into Qlik Sense in a short demo. Now we're in the Qlik Sense hub. This is the main area where we can access analytics. And I had some questions about my data that I want to have answered. So we can get these questions answered very simply using the Insight Advisor chat. If we click here, we can open up the Insight Advisor chat. And this is a chatbot-like experience where I can get my questions answered. So maybe I want to see my battery level trend. If I can type correctly, show me battery level trend. So in this moment, Qlik will take this question, actually search across all the data models and apps that I have on the Qlik Sense hub to find the right answer. So he found an app with this information and also generated on the fly this visualization for us. And also added some additional information saying, okay, the maximum battery was achieved at this time, or the minimum was only 40%, for example. Yeah, that's still quite high, mostly due to Corona not being able to drive that much. But yeah, he also makes some suggestions. I can maybe see a control chart, battery level against the rolling mean, or even do some spike detection. So often when we have kind of time series data, we'll have this option to anomaly detection to see different spikes in the data. So I could click on one of these to trigger that and see another different view of the data, or I could also just ask another question. So obviously what's everyone's first question when they hear that you have an electric car is, what is the range? And I can ask, yeah, what is my range? And once again, the same thing will happen. Qlik will try to understand the question and give back the estimated total range. So this time, because we've asked him about the day before, he's kind of kept that in context. So we get a nice diagram here, which is kind of showing the trend over time. I can clear this context as well at any time, and then it will calculate again, just tell me, okay, basically the estimated total range at the moment is about 473 kilometers. And yeah, I can go even further. Maybe I want to compare a few different things. So one thing I noticed is that I seem to have a little bit less range when it's colder out. So maybe I just want to validate if that's true or not. So I can just go here and say, what is my range by temperature? And we get another answer. And once again, a new visualization generated on the fly. And we can see, okay, but generally we see a clear trend here that when it's a bit colder, then I seem to get a bit less range. So my assumption was correct, and I can back it up with data here. It seems like the ideal temperature is somewhere between 15 and 19 degrees Celsius. So yeah, that's some interesting information that I can just quickly get through conversational analytics. And this can bring more value as more people will be able to use this form of analytics, just simply asking questions, than maybe the old style of doing analytics and diving into the dashboards and clicking around to find these answers. So that's the Insight Advisor chat, and it's a part of our strategy to enable conversational analytics for everyone. Here we can take a look at the Qlik Sense dashboard. So this dashboard is based off the real-time data, which is being updated here based on my car. And I can see my most important KPIs here up top that I always want to check, some trends. I can also dive into a bit more details. Maybe I want to check out the last few drives that I've made. So I click on drives and I can drill down into the details a bit more. So here I see similar setup, a few more KPIs, some of the things so I can see, for example, how long my drives are, how many kilometers. average speed. So these are quite low because with Corona, I'm not doing too much driving, unfortunately. And I can, of course, start off at a high level here. For example, like looking at my maximum speed through the different weeks. Maybe I want to drill down on a specific week. I see, okay, my max speed was about 158 kilometers. I see it now broken out per day. I can click on just one day. And now I see really my drives mapped out one day by speed. And maybe I want to dive into just one particular drive. Let's take this one. I can just select it. And now I'm offered the opportunity to take a deep dive into this drive. So I just click there. And now I take a deep dive into this drive where I can analyze other things such as, okay, I can see the elevation over time during this drive. I can also see the exact path I took. And yeah, also the amount of power that I use. So the max power is kind of highlighted here. So I can drill down into that even further. Just simply click and I'll make the selection. And even I can get a bit more immersive, maybe make this full screen and dive down really into the details. Okay, looks like here you can see the power being used here in this kind of lighter greener color. It probably looks like I accelerated quite quickly. So you can kind of see the max speed here as well, kind of shot up around here. Probably I put the accelerator pedal to the floor at this point. So I can even maybe just really pinpoint that time. So that's just a 30-second period and jump back out and see exactly, okay, where was that? Looks like probably was merging onto the Autobahn somewhere. So yeah, it's a nice thing about Qlik. You're able to really deep dive into the details, make selections everywhere without really thinking. You always have a nice view of the selections you've made up top, which you can always, of course, go back or delete completely here. So it's quite user friendly, meaning a lot of people can end up using it. Some other things that I often get asked is things related to the range, the efficiency. So I often refer to here, okay. So we saw earlier that actually the inside chat suggested a similar visualization, although not the exact same, where we can see, okay, based on the temperature, it seems the lower the temperature, the lower the efficiency. And I've kind of mapped this out here. We can see that, okay, with the efficiency being there and the temperature, yeah, mostly once it starts to get warmer, the efficiency starts to go up. And another question that I often get asked is, okay, well, if you take a road trip, if you take a vacation somewhere, how are you going to be able to, charge along the way? So that's something I was able to answer with GeoAnalytics. So let me focus on Germany because that's where I'm living at. So I can just simply select Germany as a country here. And actually what I'm visualizing right now is the supercharger network where I can charge my car. So first I can just show it as a heat map. I could also toggle maybe show some points. So I just show only the points here. So we see there's about 87 superchargers. And maybe more interesting, what I did with this data is not only can I visualize it here, but I can also make calculations based on this data. So I calculated the travel areas. So I'm able to see, from these superchargers where I'm able to travel within 15, 30 minutes or 60 minutes. So I can just turn that on so I can see 15 minutes, so the coverage within a 15-minute drive is not that great. Probably most of the major autobahns are covered, but not that great. Maybe I toggle on 30 minutes. Okay, looking a bit better. Or 60 minutes. So yeah, actually, within an hour drive, you have pretty good access between the entire country within Germany. So this is something that one of the many features that GeoAnalytics can offer to you. So with the Qlik platform, we offer a lot of powerful calculations which can be done to enrich the visualization experience when visualizing geodata. We've been mostly focusing on how we can interact with the dashboard, but there's many use cases where I may not want to interact with the dashboard. I may only want to be alerted when certain data in the dashboard changes. That's something that Qlik Sense supports with Qlik Alerting, and I'd like to show you how that works. So I can jump to my overview. So as an electric car owner, it can happen from time to time that I come home and forget to plug in the car. So I'd actually like to set a database alert on that scenario. So I can just right click here and say create alert. And I can say, okay, battery low. I need to select what data I want for this alert. So I'm going to choose the battery level. I also set up a measure which tells me if the car is at home or not. And at the moment it's not, so you see a small preview of the data here. And now I want to base the conditions that I want to use. So I can select the battery level. As I mentioned, maybe we can say if it's below 50%. I can then add an additional condition with and or, and just say home is, let's say, equal to, and we'll say yes, because when the car is home, then that value will be set to yes. So at that moment, that's not true. Therefore, the preview here is empty. And finally, for the alert, I can set up how often I want to receive it. If I want to receive it every time that that happens, so every time that the data is updated, it will make this check and I will always receive a notification. Or I can just receive it once per hour, once per day, once per week, or even once per month. I'll just leave it to always. And finally, I can also share it with other users. So if I want to set up alert that for other users, then I could just simply enter their emails here or select their names. But I'm just going to keep this for myself and hit create. And basically, as soon as this data gets updated and my battery level is below 50% and the car is home, I will receive a notification which tells me that with a link to this dashboard as well. And most likely I will then run to the garage and plug in my car. So that was a short overview of our Qlik end-to-end platform. And we spoke a lot about active intelligence, so I kind of want to recap what we mean by active intelligence. So first of all, it's all about getting multiple data sources together and bringing those data sources to the right places within your organization. And we want to be able to deliver that data in real time so it's always up to date. And of course, there's so much data out there today. We want to ensure that users are only looking at data when they really need to. And finally, something we didn't really see in the platform today is we want the ability to orchestrate actions automatically. So when it comes to orchestrating actions, we recently added Blender to our platform to take care of this and help automate your business. What's Blender? Blender is an integration platform as a service with over 500 connectors with a strong focus on SaaS. It's a low or no code platform. And there's, endless possibilities to automate workflows and processes. So this is also something that can be used completely separate from our Qlik data integration or data analytics platforms. But of course, we do see that such a tool can add a lot of value to your end-to-end analytics stack. And you will see in the future more and more from the Qlik stack that we will be trying to take advantage of Blender to bring more value to your analytics stack. So let's take a quick look at Blender. So this still back to the same use case that we had with the electric car data. So what I've done here is I've set up a blend already, which will be triggered through a webhook. This webhook will only be triggered once I arrive home, because once I arrive home, I usually want to get some interesting information from the drive. Usually I'm interested to know how efficient the drive was, so I can kind of take that feedback in to drive more efficiently. So this gets triggered per webhook And I'm then able to basically grab some values from that app. So, and then send that onwards to, in this case, Teams, which will just send me a basic message. So I pick that up on my phone directly when I get home. Maybe we can run it and see exactly the message. And it takes a few moments. And now it's done. It ran in a few seconds. And I can jump back to Teams and see, here's my message. You drove for 13 kilometers and your efficiency was 130%. So yeah, basically I'll get these messages anytime that I arrive at home, thanks to Blender. So that was the end of the session today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the Q&A session.